The greatest danger in life is not that we aim too high and miss, but that we aim too low and hit. Have you ever stopped to think how many of your daily actions are truly your own? Not inherited, not copied, not unconsciously absorbed, but born from a clear decision made by you, for you. Most people live their lives as though they were drifting on a vast sea with no compass, no destination, and no intention of ever reaching a shore. They follow the current, not because it's the best path, but because it's the path everyone else is taking. This is the silent trap of conformity. It begins so quietly, so innocently. A child watches the world, eager to learn, and mimics what they see. They're praised for fitting in, rewarded for staying in line. And slowly the spark of originality dims. Not extinguished, but buried beneath layers of social expectation and the fear of standing out. By the time most reach adulthood, they've become masters at imitation and strangers to themselves. They go to schools they did not choose for reasons they do not understand. They take jobs they do not love to buy things they do not need. They follow a crowd without ever asking, where is everyone going? Earl Nightingale once said, if you want to succeed, don't do what the crowd is doing. He was not advocating rebellion for its own sake, but conscious independence, the power of looking at the path ahead and saying, does this lead where I want to go? But why do we conform? Because it's safe, because it's comfortable, because it's easier to follow than to question. Yet history teaches us that progress, real progress, has never come from those who conformed. It came from those who thought differently, who walked alone for a while, who were willing to risk being misunderstood. Consider this. If 95% of people are not truly satisfied with their lives, financially, emotionally, or spiritually, then why would we follow what 95% are doing? This isn't a call to arrogance, it's a call to awareness. You don't have to abandon society to escape conformity, but you must abandon unconscious living. You must wake up and look around. Ask yourself, am I living this way because I chose it or because I settled for it? There's a quiet power in the individual who decides to think, not react, not repeat, but think. Every great achievement, every fulfilled life began with a person who refused to accept the default settings of the world around them. And here's a truth that may stir something in you. The cost of conformity is not just your uniqueness, it's your future, the one you could have lived if only you had dared to question what everyone else took for granted. So I ask you, when was the last time you truly chose your path? There is a peculiar paradox in life. The more comfortable we become, the less alive we feel. Have you noticed it? The way comfort wraps around us like a warm blanket, soothing at first, but slowly, almost imperceptibly, it becomes a prison, a soft prison, with no bars, no locks, but one that holds us tighter than any chain ever could. We live in an age that idolizes comfort. Entire industries are built on removing effort, reducing friction, eliminating challenge. And yet, the people within this comfort-driven world feel more restless, more anxious, more unfulfilled than ever before. Why? Because growth and comfort do not coexist. Earl Nightingale reminded us that the mind, like the body, requires resistance to grow. Muscles are built through strain. Trees deepen their roots in storms. And the human spirit strengthens only when it is stretched, challenged, and tested. A comfortable life may be calm, but it will never be great. You see, when we seek only comfort, we avoid the very experiences that shape us. We say no to risk, so we never discover our real strength. We say no to failure, so we never unlock wisdom. We say no to discomfort, so we never taste transformation. And here's the secret no one tells you. The uncomfortable moments, the difficult conversations, the uncertain leaps, the quiet sacrifices, these are the very moments where your character is formed. Think of a seed. If it remains safe and warm in the gardener's hand, it will never become a tree. Only when it is buried in the cold, dark soil, under pressure and weight, does it begin to break open. And in that breaking, life begins. So too with us. The truth is, most people don't stop growing because they've reached their limits. They stop because they've reached their comfort zone. But ask yourself, what lies just beyond that zone? Clarity, purpose, vitality. These do not reside in the easy path. They live just outside what is familiar. And each time you step out, even trembling, even uncertain, you expand your world. That is how mountains are climbed. That is how legacies are built. So the next time you feel resistance, ask, is this danger? Or is this growth knocking on my door? Because while comfort may feel like a friend, It is often the enemy of the life you were meant to live. There is a story we are told from the moment we begin to understand words. It whispers to us through classroom walls, through family traditions, through the subtle messages of television and polite conversation. It says, play it safe, follow the rules, find security, that's how you'll be all right. But here's the question few dare to ask. Security in what exactly? Earl Nightingale saw through this illusion, and he warned us, not with panic, but with calm precision. He understood that what most people call security is nothing more than a fragile house of cards, built on assumptions, maintained by fear. We are taught to believe that a job is secure, a pension is dependable, a title is permanent. But how many people have watched all three disappear, swept away by economic change, corporate decisions, or the simple passage of time? Real security, you see, is not external. It is not something given to us. It is something grown within us. When your sense of safety depends on something outside your control, you live in quiet anxiety. You walk on a tightrope hoping the wind won't blow. But when your foundation is built on self-reliance, adaptability, and a mind trained to think, you no longer fear the wind. You learn to use it. Consider the sailor. He does not curse the storm. He learns to adjust his sails. He does not demand calm seas. He becomes a master of navigation. And in that mastery lies his security, not in the weather, but in his preparation. So many chase false stability. They stay in unfulfilling jobs, numb their dreams and silence their ambitions, all for the sake of what they call security. But is it truly security, or is it stagnation with a name tag? Earl once said, the only person who is truly secure is the one who can adapt, who has learned to think, to solve problems, and to bring value wherever they go. That kind of person is never unemployed in the deeper sense of the word. They are never powerless, because their wealth is not stored in a vault, it is woven into who they are. Let me ask you something. If everything you depend on vanished tomorrow, your job, your status, your comforts, would you still feel capable? If not, it's time to shift your foundation, to stop placing your trust in systems and start investing in your ability to think, to learn, to grow. Because in the end, it's not the company, the government, or the market that provides security. It's you. There is a kind of quiet tragedy that unfolds not in moments of great failure, but in the slow daily erosion of dreams. It happens not with a bang, but with a whisper. You see, most people do not abandon their dreams deliberately. They don't wake up one morning and say, today I shall settle. No. Dreams are not discarded. They are buried under layers of routine, responsibility, and resignation. Day by day, task by task, until one day they simply vanish. Earl Nightingale saw this not as a dramatic downfall, but as the most common and dangerous pattern in human life. The pattern of settling into a life of repetition, not because it's fulfilling, but because it's familiar. We are creatures of habit. But here's the irony. The very routines that give us structure can also become cages that steal our fire. We trade curiosity for convenience. We trade passion for predictability. We trade the unknown possibility for the known outcome, and little by little the spark dims. Think of a person who once dreamed of painting, writing, building, exploring. What became of that dream? It wasn't destroyed, it was postponed. Pushed to the corner of a calendar already filled with obligations. It was put on hold for later, until later never came. This is how mediocrity is born, not from lack of talent, but from the slow surrender to routine. Have you ever asked yourself, is my routine serving my dreams, or suffocating them? Because the danger is not in having a routine, the danger is in letting it become unconscious. A dream requires deliberate space, time carved out even in the midst of a busy life for the thing that sets your soul on fire. You must protect that space. As a gardener protects the seed from weeds, you must protect your vision from the creeping vines of mindless repetition. Earl once said, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition will one day become reality. But the same power that can grow greatness can also grow regret if we repeat the wrong things. It is possible to go through every day productively, efficiently, responsibly, and still be walking farther and farther away from the life you truly wanted. And that is the real cost of routine. Not time, not energy, but the quiet, unnoticed theft of purpose. So I ask you in all seriousness, what dream have you allowed routine to silence? If there is a secret thread that runs through every fulfilled life, it is intention. Not noise, not speed, not busyness masked as purpose, but the quiet, unwavering force of intention. Earl Nightingale believed that the difference between a drifting life and a directed one was simple: knowing where you're going and why. That's it. Not brilliance, not perfection, just direction, with intention. You see, most people don't choose their lives, they inherit them. They inherit beliefs, routines, opinions, even definitions of success, without ever asking, is this truly mine? They move from one task to another, one year to the next, without pausing to ask, where is this path actually leading? And so, life becomes a reaction, a response, a race, but not a journey. Intentional living means waking up, not just from sleep, but from assumption. It means recognizing that every moment you spend, every word you speak, every habit you keep, is either building the life you want or pulling you away from it. That's a heavy thought. But it's also a liberating one, because it means the pen is in your hand. You can decide what matters. You can choose what to pursue. You can pause, reflect, adjust. You can live on purpose rather than by default. Earl once posed a question that still echoes. If the average person says they want success, but then does what unsuccessful people do, what are they really choosing? He understood that success is not a finish line. It is a way of traveling. It's not in the destination, it's in the decision to live deliberately every single day. That doesn't require a grand moment of awakening. It begins with something as simple as asking, what am I really aiming for? What am I feeding my mind? Am I living today in alignment with the person I want to become tomorrow? This kind of living doesn't shout. It doesn't perform. It doesn't need applause. It is calm. It is clear. It is powerful. So if there's one thought I'd leave with you today, it's this. You are not a passenger in your life. You are the captain, the architect, the gardener. And the most powerful step you can take is not the fastest, but the one taken on purpose. Think about that the next time you're alone with your thoughts.